I want to talk seriously to you right now. Doesn't mean I haven't been serious with you in time past concerning the vast majority of subjects that I have covered here on this channel. But this is important, and it is about the act of eating. I said it, yes, the act of eating. Something that, or one of the things that we have taken for granted. Most of us, the vast majority of us, have taken for granted the act of eating. What is the act of eating? It's self explanatory. It's when you eat. Anytime you eat, and every time you eat anything, there has to be some sort of gauge, some sort of personal responsibility when it comes to eating. Most of us, and I'm being nice when I say most of us, I want to say all of us, we have never been taught the proper way to eat, when to eat, and how to eat, and what to eat. We believe, and we grew up in the world, in our environment, in our society, especially here in North America, eating the American diet. And the American diet basically consists of virtually anything you can imagine. But contrasting that, if you look at the health of Americans, we fundamentally have poor health. I know this is a bitter pill to swallow, but it's the truth anyway. I don't want to be with you long. I just want to make sure that I touch on the key elements here as it relates to the act of eating. We were taught that we eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 3 meals a day, primary meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We were taught that breakfast was the most important meal of the day. Who told you that? Who told us that breakfast was the most important meal of the day? That's just a general question. Maybe you're answering it now as you're watching me. And who told us that we had to have 3 meals per day? Now, as you're listening to me and you're watching me, do you actually eat 3 meals a day? And when you eat 3 meals, if you are that individual that eats 3 meals per day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, what do those meals consist of? What types of food? And how much of those foods do you consume in those 3 meals? Volume is important. Now, the time of day in which you eat food or certain types of food is of the utmost importance as well. Did you know this? I want you to humble yourself for a moment if you're not inclined to do so most of the time and listen to me for a moment. Sometimes, just sometimes, we think because we are of the age chronologically of maturity that we don't have to listen to someone else tell us about us. We think that, and we are so wrong. There's always someone that knows a little bit more than you do about things pertaining to you and your well being. And anyone that denies knowledge coming from someone else that can benefit their lives and they deny it or denounce it or turn away from it, they're doing themselves and that of their families a great disservice. You should look beyond who the messenger is and grasp hold of the message if the message can liberate you, if it can free you, if it can make you whole or whole again. There's no reason, and I'm as humble as I can possibly be making this statement to you right now. And I've made my mistakes in my life as far as choices is concerned, like the next man. But there's no reason that we, those of you that are watching me, should have as many diseases as we have in America. Even the world, but I'm talking to Americans primarily. No reason. Most diseases, the vast majority of diseases that we have as human beings, we cause. There's no magic disease uh, element in the air that rests upon us at some point in our lives and say, wham, you've got this disease, heart disease. Wham, you've got diabetes. Bam, you have cardiovascular disease or neurological disorders and or disease. Or you have gastrointestinal disease. There is nothing that just happens out of nowhere that causes you to be afflicted. Most of the times, the answer is no further than the individual looking in the mirror. You. You I'm talking to. And me. I'll speak collectively. Because I have been the victim of my own choices, as have we all. Now, if you are overweight, if you are extremely overweight and even obese, do you think that just happened to you? Sometimes our pride will not allow us to accept that we are the culprits. We want to blame it on genetics. We want to blame it solely on a thyroid issue, a glandular problem. But it's us not taking care of ourselves because we were never given an instruction book on our physiology and how we must govern ourselves. And the medical industries have taken advantage of us being ill, us being sick, us being in disrepair because of our bad choices. Our sickness, our illnesses, and our diseases has made the medical industry rich, the pharmaceutical industries rich, beyond measure. And they become so accustomed to that wealth, so accustomed to the revenue that they make off of us being sick, that they would rather us be sick so that they can keep on thriving and their bottom line can continue to swell at our detriment and even our demise, ultimately. So what do we do? Listen to these basic things that I've talked to you about in time past. I'm going to say them again. The original man